Alright, let's do this. Good morning, folks, from Jeff's Little Engine Service. So let's go ahead and go out to the west side junkyard here. I just butchered this tree. How do you like it? So here's what we've come to fix. This mower here. Nope, this one. And the problem is that it won't start. It'll just turn over and turn over and turn over and won't start. But if you spray starting fluid, it will fire. Now when I looked inside the carburetor, and it was completely empty of gas. I blew out the fuel lines. Still no gas getting to the carburetor, so I think we have a bad fuel pump. These Kohler engines, I've had to replace several of these fuel pumps. They're mechanical style pumps, like old school Ford fuel pumps. They're not vacuum operated fuel pumps like what come on most lawnmowers today. And what we have is a KOHLER COMMAND 14 engine, and as I said, no gas getting to the carburetor. So let's zero in right here on the fuel pump, shall we? So I got myself a new pump here. This is the part number from Stens. Now you guys know I don't like using aftermarket parts, but I do trust most of Stens parts and rotary. So I will use some of their aftermarket parts. And considering this one was half price compared to what Koler wanted, and I'm not a big Koler fan anyways, I went with Stens. So you can see what you get in this kit. Get your connectors, a seal, new bolts, and then here's the pump. You also get some directions down in there. And there you go. And you can see it has one of these little tallywhackers right here on it, just like a mechanical style old school automobile fuel pump. Alright, let's put this on. Looks like I need to get a 10mm socket and my needle nose pliers so I can pull off these fuel lines. Let's go ahead and zoom you guys in here. 10mm socket. This is about one of the most, this is probably the easiest repair I've done so far this year. Thank God. For an easy one for a change. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not done yet. So it's May 19th, 2020. Here in the Pacific Northwest, and for the past 3 months I've been really busy working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day.
Where?
Let's pull this guy off of here. Let's see. I have to get it off that fuel line here. Sometimes these fuel lines can be real pesky getting off. Sometimes they grip and will not let go. So by twisting them, sometimes you can get them to move. Oh. So when these fuel lines are tough to come off, sometimes I'll just put a little lubricant on it, and that makes it come off. And another trick I use is this. Yeah, so there we go. So we'll want to clean off this gasket surface. Make sure to get off all this old gasket here. I'm going to have to go get my gasket scraper. And we still have some of this stinker. There we go. Now it's coming off. I knew I would win. Measure up the old fuel line here, see how long it was with my new fuel line. Alright. Well, I suppose before I get too far, I should read the directions. Non-metallic pump kit. So it gives a list of what the kit contains. Yeah, I guess it's some useful tips talking about lubricating the O-rings before you put it together. Yeah, okay. So here are my tools I use for cleaning off gasket surfaces. It's like a medium to fine grit sanding sponge and a razor blade gasket scraper. You really have to make sure you get down to bare metal. And I was reading in this new kit, you use an O-ring. You don't use a gasket. So you'll have to make sure to get a good flat sealing surface for that O-ring. Try not to gouge it up too much, Jeff. Of course, you want to make sure that none of the gasket material gets into the engine there. Sometimes I'll put a little rag in there. Not today. I'm working out in the West Junkyard, so I have limited supplies out here. I pretty much fix mowers where they lie. I do have workbenches, but they're usually full of other projects. And I fix so many lawnmowers a day, I would spend all my day moving lawnmowers around instead of turning wrenches. So I just fix them where they are. Sometimes I have to move them over closer to the shop when I know I'm going to need 1,000 tools to fix something. Okay. So now for the sanding sponge. This thing really makes it nice. Might have to cut this one. Nope. Try to do it in a circle if you can. Yeah, look at how nice that's looking. Oops. And you can get sanding sponges usually at your local hardware store. I'm going to say that's good. All right. I believe that is clean enough. There's our O-ring, which is our new gasket. This giant thing is a tool, believe it or not. Well, it just told me not to use a gasket. So what this tool does is that it opens up that clip inside of there so you can install the fittings. So you have to put this on like this, and then it depresses that button there and the one on that side too. I'll try to do this in front of the camera, but it's hard for me to see. Basically, you want to poke one end and then stretch it over. Oh! Well, this might be a good way to do it. Just put this clip over like this and then pull it until you get into the tabs there. Yeah, that's definitely a better way. But you can see you got to get it up over that little... There we go. Yeah, okay. So when this clip, when this tool is installed correctly, it depresses down the tab on that side and on that side, and you can see instead of looking like this, the internal clip is opened up like that, so you can install the fittings. Here are the fittings, and you just want to make sure to look at your old fuel pump. I'll set this one right here, and let's see, this would be lined up like this. So it looks like this first inlet goes back like that, and and you'll want to lubricate these O-rings. That's good enough. And you don't want to have to do this twice. It looks like that's about the angle. I'm going to say right there. And then you just push it into place. To wiggle it a little bit, and you got to get these teeth to line up. So I'm just going to press with my hand here real firm. Oh! Yep, it went into place. And you can see it's sitting flush, so we can take this clip, and it looks like it's, I think, pointed the direction I want it to be pointed. There we go. So that's how you install the inlets. And since this one's just a straight inlet, we just push that sucker in place. Anyway, it needs something. There we go. Now it's all the way in. It sits flush when it's all the way in. And we can take off this tool. And now we're good. We're ready to put this fuel pump on now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this, this fuel line on first. Brand new fuel line. Well, it's kind of confusing because it tells you to just use the O-ring, but as you can see, it gives you the spacer in this gasket. I don't know if this is supposed to go on or what. Well, I couldn't find any information about this stuff. Well, so we're just going straight off the engine block with the O-ring directly to the fuel pump. Yeah, let's see if this works. Let's see if this thing will start. Yeah, I can see it pumping. You can see your fuel in the fuel filter jumping around. Check it out.